Hi, everyone. We're back with another great episode of Liftoff with Jeanniey Walden. I'm your host, Jeanniey Walden. But guess what? I am not your only host today. Our friend, Robert Kerbeck, he's here. The former corporate spy and author of Ruse is back with us. You may remember him from his riveting interview right here on the show. And it was so amazing that I begged and pleaded and begged and pleaded for him to come back on. Just kidding. He begged and pleaded me. Oh, just kidding about that too. We all made the decision that it was such a great conversation. We wanted to bring him on. Robert, thanks for coming on and helping us out today.
Oh, well, thanks for having me back. And, 5 minutes with you was just not enough. So I'm so glad and grateful to be invited back for 30 minutes, and we're going to have a really great time.
We are, and I think it's going to be filled with some jokes, some fun, maybe some puns.
Some puns, some fish, some food, some fish food.
And some really great conversations.
Yes.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I know we've got a great show lined up, and it sounds like you're ready to roll. So, kind sir, can you do us the honor of introducing our first guest?
I think I can handle that.
Let's do it.
Today, we're welcoming a very familiar face to any Bravo-holics out there. Heather Dubrow is an actress, television personality, entrepreneur, author, and cast member of The Real Housewives of Orange County. Heather's top-rated podcast, Let's Talk with Heather Dubrow, delves into all things lifestyle, health, wellness, beauty, design, relationships, parenting, travel, style, and more. Welcome to Liftoff, Heather.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Heather, when it comes to iconic Real Housewives, you are absolutely it. I've been obsessed with you since the first moment I saw you on TV. But there's some rumors swirling around that you might be done with the show. I have to ask, what can you tell us about this season, and will you be coming back?
So thank you for saying that. That's really kind of you. This season was very difficult for me. As you saw, the girls just weren't very kind to me. And I always try to come from a place of self-actualization where I'm taking a step back and saying, is it me? What's my part in this? I've got 4 kids I'm raising, and that's how I want them to show up in the world. And I try to do the same thing. But then you watch it back and you see what they're saying behind your back, and you're like, no, actually, it's not me. And so in last night's episode, you saw that it really just came to a head. And even when presented with undeniable facts, no one cared. They just wanted to hate or not believe me or whatever. And I said, I'm done. I'm done with this show. How can I do this? It doesn't make sense. If I breathe wrong, they don't like it, so what can I do? And of course, I was being maybe a little dramatic and hyper emotional. I'm certainly willing to admit that. But I really do not like the way I was treated. And I'm certainly also not going to let anyone run me off a show that I've been a part of for over a decade. So we shall see. But I mean, honestly, if they'll have me back, I would come back.
It's so important for all of us to just be able to take care of ourselves inside and out, and especially when we have kids. And I know you're a mother of 4. You have 3 LGBTQ identifying children. One of my daughters is transgender. Robert's daughter is transgender. So, we get it. We're right there with you. But what has it been like to have this platform to help open up conversations in other people's families? Because everything you do and everything you say, I can tell you from the viewer side of the couch, is absolutely making a difference.
Yeah, I so appreciate that. And yeah, we're part of a very unique, maybe not so unique club, the 3 of us. But one of the reasons, as you know, I left the show and then came back a few years later. And my goal to coming back was exactly what you're saying. My goal was to start conversations in other people's families and show everyone what our normal, functioning, healthy family looks like. And the 2 of you, I mean, I honestly have chills. I applaud both of you for showing up for your family and showing up for the audience every day and showing that this is biology. And we're just here to take care of our kids. But I feel like part of my goal in life and what I've been given this platform to help other families too.
Well, Heather, you are an actor, you're a businesswoman, you're an entrepreneur, you're a spokesperson, you're a mom, but you are also authentic, inspirational, and relatable. You always have a spot on the show. We welcome you back anytime. It was such a pleasure having you on. Thank you so much.
Thank you both so much.
Welcome back. I cannot contain my excitement. So I had to do it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
had to do
yeah.
it. You'll find out why. This is the pun episode, though. But that may be bad news because these next guests are kind of obsessed with containing things. You know them as the founders of the Home Edit and stars of Netflix Get Organized with the Home Edit, Joanna Teplin and Clea Shearer. Welcome, ladies.
Yeah,
We
thank
really
you so
appreciate
much.
the time.
Oh, it's great to have you here. And you two have really led a revolution of people taking their spaces back from chaos and clutter. But you guys seem to have a great time doing it. And that is really cool. I mean, how did you guys start working together? And what was it like taking your working relationship to Netflix and getting so much major notoriety?
Well, Joanna and I didn't start out knowing each other, which is a fun fact. We met on a blind friend date and started the Home Edit that day. We just completely clicked and connected and jumped off without even looking, which is a wild thing to do. We always tell people it worked, but don't try what we did. It's crazy.
Yeah, definitely is crazy.
And, we started our business again that day, and every single day after that and since has been like dog years.
Yeah.
And, we just worked methodically, built our business, and then put together a sizzle to send to Netflix about, we had filmed a show called Master the Mess with Hello Sunshine. And so we kind of put that together and showed it to Netflix, and Get Organized was born.
And what advice do you have for other small business startups like, I don't know, this little show Liftoff who want to have similar success?
I would say this: do what you love, first of all, because it's the old adage that you never work a day in your life if you do something you love. I think it's true. I mean, there's nothing I love more than organizing. It is the most fun thing. And I think be as fortunate as we are to work with people that you respect and admire and appreciate.
Yeah. And also don't be afraid to fail. I mean, we jumped into this business again without looking, holding hands, feet first, and we'd never looked back. And we just decided if we failed, the worst that happens is no one sees you anyway.
Yeah.
So
you just fail and then you pick yourself back up. But
exactly.
That's the worst.
Now, when you work with clients, I mean, be it on the show or just out in the field, what are some common issues and themes that, seem to be tripping people up in terms of keeping a space organized? Because I think that's really the hard part.
Well, I think people are starting off they bite off more than they can chew. And so then they get paralyzed. They're like, oh, I'm not meant for organizing. I can't organize. It's not like you're born with it necessarily. I mean, some people have tendencies that, hone that craft early on, but some don't. And I think anyone can be organized. You just have to start off small.
And I think it's really important. Yes, starting off small, don't bite off more than you can chew, but you also want to be realistic with yourself. Like, don't just look at a picture on Instagram and try and achieve that picture. You have to really think about what is smart and what makes sense for your lifestyle. And I think that a lot of people just think that organization is about like a Pinterest worthy picture. And really it's about smart functional systems that you can make look beautiful to achieve that. But it's about an actual system to organize your life.
Well, thanks again for joining us, and we will be right back.
Everything costs more these days, and a recent survey shows that rising out-of-pocket dental care costs are preventing patients from accessing important and necessary dental care. I've been there. I know that's true. Since dental health is critical to overall health, Bobby Rebell, certified financial planner, joins us to share what people can do to plan ahead and prepare for dental expenses. Welcome, Bobby.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for highlighting this really important topic.
Bobby, tell us about the survey and some of the key findings. I just am really curious to hear what you know.
Yeah, so the Synchrony Dental Lifetime of Care survey had some really compelling and concerning findings, not the least of which, this is not so surprising, that the majority of people surveyed did feel that dental care was simply unaffordable. And we know a lot of people don't even have dental insurance. Among those, 75% said it was unaffordable. The numbers, they're big. For a family, and you mentioned that you have a very large family, you're looking at $95,000 plus for a lifetime of care. And that's not even including a lot of the things that we know, and you certainly know as a parent, really are gonna hit you hard, like orthodonture. We also have things like dental implants and other complicated dental procedures. That's on top of that $95,000. So these are really big numbers that we need to be facing head on and kind of live in reality that this is probably gonna be something that we need to plan for.
And I can only guess, but it'd be great to understand more. What is the impact of delayed dental care?
Yeah, delayed dental care can really be painful on many levels. You know, growing up, there was a sign in my dentist's office and it said, ignore your teeth and they will go away. And that used to really scare me as a kid. But now we know it's not just about our teeth going away, it's about our overall health, because dental health and oral health, that affects everything. It's our whole physical well-being, it's our mental health, our emotional health, and to the point of today's topic, also our financial health, I should say. So it's really important that we be paying attention and we be proactive and we not put off the things that we know we need to be doing, especially the well-being. I mean, the majority of people, over 90% were found in the survey, that they would actually put off just general dental wellness visits, things like that, because they're so concerned about affordability. So we don't want to be doing that.
You know, with cost being a barrier to care for so many people, what can people do to better plan and prepare for these costs?
In terms of long-term planning, we want to have emergency funds. That's always a good idea. Segregating a separate emergency fund for dental care is so important. And now one upside, I hate to say it, but it is an upside to these higher interest rates, is we can get better returns on our emergency fund money and things like money markets and things like high yield savings accounts. That's something, by the way, that Synchrony does provide. We also should be paying attention to pre-tax money options. So for example, it's probably open enrollment for a lot of people right now. Pay attention to your flexible spending accounts. Pay attention to those health savings accounts. Put away money, because you can pay for these expenses with pre-tax money, and that's really compelling. But of course, as you mentioned, so many of us find ourselves in the moment not having the funds to necessarily pay for the dental work that has to be done, and timing is important. We don't want to put this off. So in those cases, sometimes it does make sense to get a health and wellness credit card like Care Credit, because there are so many promotional financing options that can really help us get to where we need to be financially to get the dental care we need. Things like deferred interest if you qualify, things like fitting the payments into your budget by spreading out the payments over time. And that can be sometimes as much as 60 months. So very flexible things, because at the end of the day, Jeannie, what we really want is to get the dental care that we need for our family in an affordable way that makes sense for our financial health.
Where can people go for more information?
Yeah, to get more information, go to dentallifetimeofcare.com. That's dentallifetimeofcare.com. Lots of great information there. And I promise, not only does it have solutions, but it has lots of statistics that will motivate everyone to get on board with this.
Thanks, Bobby. Thanks for joining us today. For everybody else, stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Our next guest rocks, literally. I'm so excited. Ryan Dusick, you know him. Come on, I know you do. He's a founding drummer of the mega hit band, I don't even need to say it, Maroon 5. Like, you already knew that. And his new book, Harder to Breathe, a memoir of making Maroon 5, losing it all, and finding recovery, is such an inspiration, as is Ryan himself. We are so thrilled to have you on Liftoff today, Ryan. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me on. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, so Jeannie, Ryan and I are pals, and I recently hosted Ryan in Malibu at the Soho House Literary Salon event that I run there every month. And I have to tell you, Ryan's book really is fantastic. Harder to Breathe. It's a great song, but it's an even better book. And so I'm so happy to have you, Ryan, because you're a mental health coach, you're a speaker, you're an advocate, you're a columnist for Variety magazine, and you very candidly share your own struggles with addiction in your book. So I guess my first question is what drove you to write the book now?
Well, I thought about writing this book probably about 10 years before I did, when I was really struggling. I was in a dark place because I had to leave the band that I spent a decade building with my best friends, because I suffered a breakdown on the road that just I didn't allow me to play the drums anymore. And so, I wanted to write a book. I had a lot of stories to tell, but at that point I didn't know what the purpose would be, because I was still in this dark place. But fast forward a decade, when I'm in recovery and I'm back in school studying to get my master's degree in clinical psychology, and turning all of this pain that I've been through into a mission, to help people and to give back, to be of service. And then it just kind of hit me. This tragic story I'd been telling myself had a happy ending. And so I wanted to share it and hopefully offer some hope to people that could see themselves in the things that I went through on my journey to where I'm at now.
Well, you absolutely survived, not only survived, but you are thriving now. And for everybody that reads your book, what is the one main message or takeaway that you want people to finish the book and say, wow, this is what I learned?
Well, I think that number one is that there's hope, even if you can't see it. Sometimes it's hard to see it. And the things that are major setbacks, disappointments, failures in our life are a part of the journey. Sometimes we can't see that it's part of the journey until we get to the other side of it. And it doesn't have to be defining of you, right? For me, I thought the rest of my life was going to be, this big letdown, because the one thing that had been my purpose and my meaning and the thing that gave me a sense of fulfillment in my life was gone. But it turns out that going through all of that actually was the thing that offered me new purpose and new meaning, and something that I was able to create a new life for myself. And so that was the thing that became defining of this part of my life. So it's never the end. It's always part of the process.
Wow. Now, if you could go back in time, so, here you are, you're in Maroon 5, your band is breaking, you're the hottest band in the world, and you have this crisis where now you can't play drums. If you could go back in time to yourself at that moment in time, what would you tell yourself?
Well, I think I would probably tell myself, first off, that it's okay. Most people go through the experience of having imposter syndrome at some point, which is what I experienced, feeling like I don't belong here. I'm going to be a failure. All the insecurities and self-doubt that goes into, I've talked to people in what I do now that are at the highest levels of different industries, and they all talk about this feeling, right? So for me to be in that place, I deserve to be there, to be on stage in front of 20,000 people. We worked for a decade to get there. I deserve to be there. I couldn't understand that then because I had those insecurities. So I would definitely tell myself that, and also just being open to change and being open to the feeling of vulnerability. As a young man, especially 20 years ago, when the public discourse on mental health wasn't what it is now, it's starting to become now. Especially for young men, there was just not this ability to be open about our vulnerability and insecurity in a way that would have been helpful. So communicate those feelings, talk to the people around you about what you're experiencing, and hopefully you can get some support and the help that you need to work through those things.
Ryan, I want to thank you for coming. I want to thank you for writing your book. It's really important, and I'm so grateful that we got to hear your story, and more importantly, your audience got to hear your story.
My pleasure. Thank you guys for having me on.
Thanks so much, Ryan. And don't go anywhere for everybody that's watching, because we've got Celebrity Chef George Duran joining us after the break, and it smells so good.
If you didn't already know, October is Seafood Month. Here to help us whip up a delicious, nutritious, and convenient meal with farm-raised Atlantic salmon is my man, Chef George Duran. Welcome, Chef.
Thanks, guys.
I'm so excited. So, okay, Chef, I know you have an amazing spread here. It looks so good. So hard not to eat it earlier. But first off, you got to tell us, especially with that introduction, why is it important for you to choose Ocean Farm Sustainable Fish?
Yeah, I teamed up with this Norwegian Atlantic salmon company called Mowi, and what I've learned is extraordinary. The way they pay to the attention of detail of raising sustainable fish and salmon specifically, it makes a world of a difference when it comes to the flavor, the quality, the freshness that you receive at home. So you get situations where you literally have 3 days maximum where it goes from the farms, which are ocean farms, directly to your table in less than 3 days. From the packer in Miami, for example, it could take 24 hours for it to get to your home. This means that the salmon is never, ever frozen, and you can tell it by the attention to detail. Not only that, these guys have been nominated 4 times as #1 sustainable protein in a row. And what you look for when you look at salmon, especially when it comes in packages, you look at this label, it's called ASC. That is guaranteed that they really take care of not just the environment, but the quality of where that fish, that salmon is raised up in Norway and Chile and Scotland, these cold waters that make this food actually taste better when it comes to your table.
Okay, I'm hungry now. Can we eat?
We can definitely eat however you want. There's a lot of food over here, and I want to talk a little bit about the cuts. First of all, a lot of these Mowi salmon, you can get them at Amazon Go. You can order them online on Amazon Fresh, even at Target. You can find them there. But there's different cuts that you can look into. And if you look at this Atlantic salmon that we have here, we have a whole fillet over there that you can serve like the whole family style meal. We have individual portions. We have the double portions. We have even herbed. So if you don't want to put your own herbs or seasoning on it, it's already pre-herbed. There's even one that is right over there that has a little puck, and that puck is butter. It's a seasoned butter. So you cook the salmon, melt the butter, and put it on top of it. And even, of course, the cedar plank salmon that you could put on the grill, and it will give it nice smoky flavor. And we'll get to the smoky flavor with the smoked salmon. But let's first start with a fresh Atlantic salmon. And this is my favorite. Do you see in this packaging here these white lines when you go see salmon over there? Yeah. Already you can tell that is called, do you know what that's called?
No.
Marbling. That is the key term. If
It makes so much sense.
Right? It kind of looks like a marble. You want to look for that. That's the omega fats in there that are really good for your health, your skin, your body. It's really good and very nutritious as well. So you take some of this salmon and you cut it up into cubes. And the best way, a lot of people come up to me and they ask me, hey, what is the best way to cook salmon? For me, it's one way, and that's air frying. I cut it in cubes, and this is called a sweet and sour salmon, and it's so simple to make. You put any blackening rub on top of the salmon itself, just kind of add a lot of that, any of that blackening. It could be like Old Bay or anything spicy if you want it spicy or not, however you want it. It could even be salt if you want, but you want to blacken that. Pop it directly in the air fryer. A little bit of that fat that's inside of the salmon already, that air fryer is going to crisp up. You're going to encapsulate the flavors of the salmon inside of it, and then you're going to have this right over here, these cubes of salmon. You make the sweet and sour sauce that I've kind of put the recipe out there for you guys, and you kind of just drizzle it, or you kind of melt it right on top of it. And what you're going to get is this gorgeous, sweet and sour, kind of an Asian twist to salmon that I absolutely adore. And my kids have started eating more salmon because of this.
That's really impressive, because if kids are eating super healthy seafood, then you know it's really good.
The other thing that I love about Mowi is that they also have things like smoked salmon, real wood chip smoked salmon. And again, you can see the quality in the, what is that called, the white lines?
Marbling.
The marbling. You have that really nice, sweet, smoky flavor of the smoked salmon. And Mowi understands that you like quality and freshness at your home. And so what I ended up doing is making a deviled eggs with smoked salmon. Like, no joke, this is one of the easiest things to make. And I'm going to ask you to actually pipe some of this. So what I did is I pretty much blended, or I actually food processed, smoked salmon, cream cheese, lemon, and lemon zest. And all you do is you pipe that inside of the egg after removing the yolk, and then you top it with whatever you like on it.
Well, Chef, can you come to our houses and also make this beautiful, delicious type of food for us?
Let me call my wife and ask her if I'm okay if I can do that.
There you go.
She wants me to cook for her first.
Chef, thank you so much for being on the show. We really appreciate it.
Fantastic.
Super fast way to a nutritious meal that your kids, your spouse, everybody in the family is going to love in less than 10 minutes. How great is that?
And so finally now we are going to get to chow down, and then we will be back after the break with more great guests. So stay with us.
Welcome back. Sasha DiGuilian is the most decorated female rock climber in the entire world. She's a philanthropist, an entrepreneur, and an author. Her book, Take the Lead, Hanging On, Letting Go, and Conquering Life's Hardest Climbs, shows the world what it's like to be a woman constantly pushing the boundaries of what most thought possible. So happy to have you here on Liftoff, Sasha.
Thanks so much for having me today. It's a pleasure to be on your show.
Now, Sasha, you started rock climbing at 6 years old. That sounds kind of insane to me. How the heck does one start rock climbing so young?
I started climbing after my brother's birthday party at a local climbing gym. So yeah, it was 1998. I was 6 years old. I really loved going up on the wall. I joined the local junior team, which was just a kind of ragtag team that met Wednesdays and Saturday mornings at the climbing gym. And then when I was 7, I walked into the gym for junior team practice. There was a competition being held. That's how I literally stumbled upon the world of competition climbing. And then from there, the rest is kind of an accelerated history of a lot of competitions, early success in the junior category, to then competing for the adult US team by the time I was 16, and winning the world championships at 18 and so on to transitioning more to outdoor climbing and doing big free ascents around the world to what I do now.
Now, Sasha, how are you working to inspire the next generation of climbers?
Sure. I've really had this privilege of a platform through my career in climbing. And now I stand on the board of the Women's Sports Foundation as well as Ascend Athletics. And I work with Protect Our Winters and Right to Play International as well as Up to Us Sports. And these programs are really using the transformative skills of both climbing and also sport in general to empower the lives of today's youth and the future leaders. I really believe in the fact that sport has taught me how to find confidence in my own life, how to have these life skills of setting goals, working hard, dealing with failure, and then getting back up and trying again. And so through working with these different nonprofits, it brings me a lot of purpose because I think that it's one thing, you know, for us as athletes to have these platforms of an audience, but when you have that platform, what really makes me feel like I have a purpose is by using it to push forward things that I believe in. And that includes, you know, youth participation in sport and also access in general to sports and taking care of our environment.
I know our viewers want to know, what are the key takeaways from your book when it comes to leading and being in the spotlight?
The book really centers around finding your passion, figuring out how to make that passion something that you can pursue in your life, owning who you are, and crafting your own voice. And so I hope that the people, whoever's listening, who reads my book, really gets a sense of empowerment and a sense of, I can do this if I just try. And then there's obvious points of failure. There's ups and downs and how to get through those tough times as well.
Well, Sasha, it was truly a pleasure having you on, and I'm a little less afraid of heights now, thanks to you.
Thank you so much for having me.
And that is it today here on Liftoff. Robert, you rocked it. Get it? Am I joking? I'm so excited. I've been waiting the whole episode for that. It was such a pleasure having you on. But tell us, what's next?
Well, there's this little thing called Ruse, the TV series, which is about to go into production. And obviously that is just, I'm over the moon about it. To see my book translate to the screen is something beyond my wildest dreams.
Well, I want updates every single step of the way.
Well, how about if we get you a part, right? You know, we'll have you be like, you know, Secret Spy #2.
I want to be Secret Spy #1.
That's me.
Oh, darn it. Gotta be Secret Spy Girl #1?
Yes.
Okay, done, done. Okay, done. Yeah. All right, everybody, you saw, we agreed on camera. So stay tuned to everything that Robert's got going on. And also stay tuned here on Liftoff by following us on social and seeing us next time. Bye.
The proceeding was sponsored by Liftoff Enterprises, LLC.